Welcome to the High School Huddle. My name is Brandon Chatmon. I'm joined by Ryan Aber. He's the lead prep writer for the Oklahoman. We're here on the Dodge Sports Desk at Opubco Studios. Last week was the opening week of high school football, and there's plenty to talk about. Clearly, the upset of Week 1 was Broken Arrow over Tulsa Union. How surprised were you at that outcome?
Well, I wasn't necessarily surprised with the fact that Broken Arrow was able to beat Union. We've known that Broken Arrow was on the verge of a breakthrough for a while now. I was surprised at the score. I certainly didn't expect Broken Arrow to go out and win by 15 and hold Tulsa Union to only 9 points, especially after Union looked as good as any high school team I've probably ever seen in a scrimmage a couple weeks earlier.
Okay, Union has a lot of really good athletes. What are they going to have to do to get back on track?
Well, I think they're just going to have to push that game out of their minds. I think once they get into the regular flow of their schedule, into the district part, obviously they got a big game this week, but once they get past that, things will get a whole lot easier. They're not going to play a whole lot of teams that are as good as Broken Arrow.
All right. As far as the city area, there was a battle of unbeatens with Guthrie knocking off McGinnis. What really stood out to you in that game?
Well, first of all, every game was a battle of unbeatens last week, but I know what you mean there. Guthrie and McGinnis had been a long time since they'd lost. Guthrie just continues to show that they have athletes there. Some people questioned whether they would be back at the same level after losing Kai Staley to OSU, but clearly Keaton Collins is ready to be a full-time quarterback, and Dante Foster made one of the best catches I've ever seen early in the first quarter.
Well, Carl Albert was hammered last week by Tulsa, Washington, 40-7. Moving forward, what will the Titans have to do to be successful?
Well, I think the first thing they need to do is forget the spread. They went to that in the offseason. They've struggled with it in the scrimmages. They struggled with it, obviously, in the first game of the season. But ditch the spread, go back to the eye. They've got strong running backs. They've got Daytwan Lowe that they can use in several different roles. Take full advantage of that, run behind your linemen, and Carl Albert still has a chance to contend for a 5A championship.
Another interesting game last week was Millwood versus Star Spencer. Millwood knocked off Star. Did that surprise you at all?
Not really. We knew that Star was a pretty good team in their class. Millwood, struggled last year, but clearly everybody thought that they were going to be back this year, and that's the case. Millwood is going to have another tremendous season, have a chance to compete for a state title, although they're in one of the toughest classes around. But no, I don't think this says a lot for how either of these teams' season is going to turn out. I think they're both going to be successful. But I figured Millwood would win that game.
All right. It was a great week of football, Week 1. Looking forward to this week's schedule. What games do you find most intriguing?
Well, I think obviously the big one that stands out Week 2 every year, Jinx Union, especially because of what happened with Union last week. I think we can get a really good feel for whether last week was maybe an aberration for Union or if it's going to be something that we'll come to see throughout the rest of the season, and just how dominant Jinx is. There's quite a few other really good games. Norman North is traveling to Muskogee, a team that they've struggled with, but has sort of been their benchmark over where they are in relation to the rest of the state and the powers on the east. So we'll get a good look there. Kingfisher and Tuttle. Kingfisher's a team that's given Tuttle a lot of problems the last couple of years, but it's been in district play. This year they play early in the season.
All right, Ryan. Well, we appreciate your expertise. Thank you for watching the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week on the Dodge Sports Desk as we look back at Week 2 of high school football.
Let's see it.